Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. And what are we doing today, Guude? Are we farming?
On this day, we're gonna farm.
Driving circles around. Oh, you moved. But what is the plan here?
All right, let's buy some shit, as we always do. Start off. That's what we do now. We play the game for 12 hours.
12 yes, 12
and then we play, and then we record for just a short period. All right, it's been purchased. I think you have to drop the one you have off first.
I think I have to get it. So basically, we're under the impression that we have been misunderstanding.
After 40 episodes, we finally think we know what the little puzzle piece means. Yeah, looking at this thing, it honestly makes perfect sense now. Looking at it, I can see everything now. I can see clearly now.
So I got it. So now you think it connects to this one?
Yep. And I can totally see how it does. I see its vagina and everything.
I need a weight, but we don't want to wait.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the yellow tractor's the one that you got to get.
Well, because we're gonna put something on the back though if we do this right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It got it. It
totally works.
But I'm off the ground.
All right, drop that and let's see if the yellow tractor can handle us.
Well, no. Let's buy the other thing first, because it might be able to handle it. Because that's going to be a weight on the back.
I still think you need the yellow.
We'll find out.
No, but even if you can hold it, it's going to be.
Come on, Guude. Let's just test it.
All right.
Because I don't want to waste the yellow tractor with this.
Wonder why this Kuhn windrower is so expensive. It says it can connect with the SB1000 and something else, which I don't know what those are. All right, here we go.
Oh my God, it's huge. Oh, this is like hard to even steer this behemoth of a.
This is totally got to go with the yellow tractor. Why do you not want to go with the yellow tractor? Why are you so stubborn?
Oh my! I got it. Hold on. Now let me see if I can go get this one and not tip over. Because then we don't have to waste the yellow tractor with this stuff.
It's not wasted. What else is it going to do?
All the other things that we needed to do. Okay, I've got them all. It drives. It doesn't tip over.
But how slow is it going to be when it's actually working, I wonder?
Well, I guess we'll find out when it's working. It's driving a decent speed. 21 miles an hour, 22, 23. Yeah, it's trucking along. Yeah, we had no idea that the puzzle pieces meant what other equipment it could connect to versus the tractor it could connect to.
Yeah, we always thought that that's what we need to look at to know what kind of tractor we needed.
So this makes a lot more sense. And this ridiculous contraption is because we should be able to triple wide mow and then windrow that into one row for much easier pickup. Excuse me. We think. We'll find out.
I think it works. So, did you buy anything on Amazon Prime Day?
No. I did not. I bought one thing, but it didn't have anything to do with Prime, and it's funny because I knew it was a scam.
I bought a scam.
So I really did, but it was through Amazon, so I figured the worst comes to worst, I'm going to be able to get my money back out of it, even though it was like nothing. But my wife's always wanted to get a hot tub.
You bought a hot tub on Amazon?
So they sell inflatable hot tubs that I never knew about.
Oh yeah, Walmart has these too.
So they're the same ones that they sell at Walmart. And I knew a couple weeks ago they were on sale at Amazon for like $290, which is really not much for a 4-person hot tub.
Right.
They might not be anything special. But so I was looking at them and I was like, do we want to do something like this, or do we want to get a real one? But you know, if we can get an inflatable one that's portable and movable for like around $300, like, maybe that'd be a decent like starter hot tub type of deal. To see if this is really something we want at the house. Well, I went and was looking at them, and there was a random seller who was selling these hot tubs for $9.97. So, knowing it was not going to be like legitimate, I decided to purchase it anyway. I amazingly got a tracking number and was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. There's no way that they are going to sell this thing to me. Well, now, in the days since then... Oh, hold on, I'm trying to switch all these. You gotta switch all these different tools and, like, turn them all on at different times. Hold on, I gotta wait till this goes down.
It's gonna be a hot tub for ants.
Well, it's basically, there's a lot of negative feedback now, which wasn't there before. There was no feedback for the seller. There's a lot of feedback now on the seller that they send fake tracking numbers. They're not legitimate. Do not purchase from this person, you know.
Man, that's quite a shame. I also have looked at the inflatable hot tub and considered purchasing it, because I bought a couple of those Walmart inflatable pools, and I'll tell you, I'll never buy another one again. I've always wanted a pool, and whenever I was younger, when I lived in Texas, we had like my mom's ex. He does some job for someone or something, and got this giant above ground pool, but it's like the biggest ones you could have. And so we had this giant pool, but upkeep on a pool is the worst. Have you ever had a pool that you had to actually maintain?
Yeah, I grew up with a pool with my my parents' house.
Did you?
Hold on, I can't figure out if this thing is. I can't figure out if this thing's actually working or not. I don't have an option to turn on the two fold-out mowers. I only have an option to turn on the front mower.
You gotta lower it first.
It is lowered, but it doesn't look like it's doing the mowing of the side ones. Here, jump in. I'm gonna jump in this thing for a minute, see if I missed an option on that, because there's like so many different things to turn on in this, because you got to switch to each tool individually and turn them all on and lower them and all that. I very well could have missed something.
All right, let's see here.
I mean, there's a shit ton of mode right here. Maybe you don't actually have to run over the whole thing. Maybe it assumes that with the windrower attached and on, it automatically kind of puts them into one row.
I heard them cut on just now. Yeah, and I heard the other one cut on. In fact, they light up green when you cut them on.
They light up green.
Insufficient power available to...
Wait, I did not get that option.
Whenever I tried to turn on the windrower too, it told me insufficient power.
Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe it didn't have the option because there was insufficient power to turn on the other set of mowers. So we do need the other tractor.
We do.
That's a shame. So anyway, back to the hot tub. Like, I still want to get one, and I still think $300 is reasonable for what it is. But I was really going on a limb, going, I know this is fake, but it's for $10. Even if I can't get the money back from Amazon, it's worth the risk just in case. It's some random seller who's like maybe got a surplus of them and just wants to get rid of them.
Yeah, no, I think that was reasonable.
But I mean, it's an 86-pound item, and they were shipping it for free, so that's really not, you know, that would never happen. So, but you know what? So that's the only thing I bought during Prime Day, and it had nothing to do with Prime Day. Like, that just happened to be during Prime Day.
I wonder how that stuff gets by. I mean, I know that anyone can list, but it's not fucking eBay. Like, I thought there was... Okay, I guess I don't actually know how Amazon is regulated.
Well, that's the thing, is I wasn't giving my payment information to a random website. It was paid through Amazon. So I'm assuming I'm going to be covered under them, and I didn't give out my personal information to somebody, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. I have no idea. Maybe when Amazon pays somebody through your payment, it passes your credit card info off to them. I hope not.
No, I don't. I don't believe that.
I can't believe that either, but never really know. That was really fast turnaround.
That's how I hit trees in real life.
This thing does have a front attachment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
I'm eagerly waiting. Waiting.
All
Everything's
right.
on. Oh yeah, so you're definitely mowing them all now. So I was not, for sure. Oh yeah, and it puts them into this one huge freaking strip here in the middle.
Holy balls.
If I want to go get this tractor with the baler and see how quickly it bales, and then I want to kind of pick it all up with the that forestry thing.
I want to see if I can hire a worker. What happens? I'm gonna hire a worker right now. See what happens.
I mean, they should do it. I would hope. That's kind of part of the point of us buying it.
Right. Looks like he's doing it. I want to see what happens when he comes to turn around. Because before, the side mower really fucked him up. He just could not handle the whole situation.
He's got to be turning around very quickly, right?
God, I hate how he lifts everything.
It takes like an extra hour. He's earning that money, man. He's up on the hill.
Yeah, he's doing his turn here.
Let's see now. Hopefully, he actually he does this based on it being how wide it is now.
That's what I'm worried about.
He does not look like he's lining up for that.
No, he's not. He's not. He's doing it based on
the single mower.
Front. Yeah. In fact, he only lifted that one. I wonder if it's because that's what I had selected.
So if you select the larger one, maybe it'll.
Yeah. Line him up here.
Have to watch him do another pass. I'll stay out of the way while he does another pass because otherwise it'll be a hot mess down here. I'm assuming you bought something for Prime Day though.
No, I didn't this year actually. Last year I did. But last year I bought. Let's see, I bought a couple things. Last year I bought a car camera, like a traffic cam.
Okay. A dash cam.
Yeah, dash cam, which is still sitting in its box.
Oh. Yeah, I put mine in my car, and I like my dash cam.
You know, I probably would. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is complicating. I
guess it depends on which one you got, because the one problem I have with mine is if I set it to continuously record, I have to actually turn the thing off and on because it otherwise just stays on the whole time, and I'm not going to turn off my car and let it just keep running forever. But if I put it to motion detection, which it is, it'll actually kick off after a while of no motion, which is nice because I can leave it there when I'm parked. But the motion detection is really slow.
Yeah, this guy is the worst human being that's ever been existed.
He's not doing this right.
No, so you can't hire work.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, no, I told him to fuck off. I told him to leave me and never speak to me again.
Oh, so he windrowed partially.
Yeah, because it's so wide.
So let me see here. I'm going to turn this thing on and see what happens. Turn on the baler. Oh, I have to get all the way down to the next row before I can do anything with this.
Well, just tabbed out. Damn it.
Yeah, dash cams are cool, and I like to have it for just in case something happens. I mean, we all know how well my security camera footage has worked for me, especially in the social world.
Right. Makes sense.
It's funny. I actually get updates on that guy. I just got another one today because he's being federally prosecuted.
Really?
Yes. Because I was not the only person. Apparently, there was a lot of complaints against that particular individual, and mine was kind of like the last one with some video proof of anything that they prosecuted him for. But
wow.
Yeah.
You've ruined this guy's life, Jeff.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, you should definitely put it in there. And
you know, I'd actually bought it for the Subaru. That's the other reason why I never actually did anything with it. Just never got around to it. But yeah, I don't know what all is required for the thing to even work. Like I don't know how. I don't know. It looked like it was too much trouble.
Dude, I can get like 3 feet before I have to stop and
see. That's what I was worried about. I was worried like it's like almost like non-helpful because it's like
I want to see I want to see how many bales I get out of this one row. So there's like one. That's my first full bale.
Tractor. Right.
There's my next one. It's like not even started wrapping yet before.
Right.
That's
what I was worried about. But yeah, if it, I mean, do you think it's better?
I mean, we maybe not for this, but for the forage harvester.
Right.
It'll pick it up real freaking quick. That's for sure. We just might need a bigger one.
Oh, I think we definitely need a bigger one.
Yeah, this thing is like, this is ridiculous.
But yeah, I bought a tent last year. I bought a beach tent as well, like the little like open faced thing for like a beach.
Yeah, like a 10 by 10, set it up at the beach type of deal. Put your
no, actually those aren't allowed at Myrtle Beach.
Oh.
So it's like this little thing that basically you can just sit under. Yeah, they have pretty strict rules about what you can set up on the beach here, so it can't be anything too big. I think that might be everything I bought. I haven't used the like camping tent yet. I was going to a couple weeks ago, but then it rained, and so we didn't camp.
I'll tell you, I bought a tent a couple years ago. We were going to a big like weekend concert festival, and we got the camping for the first time at this particular place, which was not cheap for one, but we didn't have a tent either. And I ended up finding on eBay a 10-person tent that somebody was selling for $30. And I was like,
wow.
Sweet. And we had no idea. I literally picked it up the day before the festival. Had no idea if all the parts were there or anything like that. And we just went, no instructions, nothing like that. And luckily it was like a full tent and pretty easy to put together. That thing's pretty fucking amazing, actually.
Yeah, I looked for a long time before I actually committed to this tent. Because I mean, we already had a couple of tents. But I wanted one. This one's only like, it's got like the 2 different areas basically, but it's not 10-person. But I definitely looked at some of those ones that are crazy, like you're talking about. But I didn't commit fully with
see,
like,
but this one is funny.
bedroom.
It's 10 people, but the multi-bedroom feature of it is literally just a flap that you can drop down. So it's not really a different bedroom. It's pretty much just one big open area. It's just got those ends that kind of stick out, you know, with like their own little windows that you could claim as somebody's room, but it's not separated from the other, you know, people in the tent.
So you're not like getting busy in the other room and having privacy.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say you can be getting busy. You just don't have the privacy aspect you just discussed.
Into voyeurism.
I mean, yeah, I pull that screen down. It doesn't really help.
Do you guys have student drivers in DC?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't actually know.
So you've never seen the like yellow cone on top of a car?
No, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I ever have in DC. I'm sure that they have to exist. Well, maybe they don't let them drive in DC because it's so fucking crazy.
That's what I wondered. Like, but then how the hell do you ever learn? Like, how do people cope with? I mean, I wasn't barely able.
Yeah, you did not cope well. I don't know. I didn't cope well when I first moved here either. It's something I got used to, and yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm gonna keep my eye out now for student drivers because I'm not positive at all I've ever seen one in DC. I've definitely seen them over in Montgomery County in Maryland, where I'm volunteer at.
Right.
But I've never.
That's not crazy downtown DC either.
No, right? It's still like busy, but it's more, you know, it's not DC by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, I don't know. Was that?
I asked because
I was gonna say, were you strictly asking because you were curious if people could?
Well, you know, normally it's not a big deal. Like you get behind them, and they might be a little bit slower, but they normally go the speed limit, and you know, you don't. In my experience, the student driver never puts me off like, student driver, God, I'm stuck behind this idiot. But this morning, when I was taking my daughter to the little camp thing she does, I'm always early anywhere I go. I cannot stand to be late anywhere, so I always leave with time. I would rather sit in.
By the way, you should come look at this row of bales that I just pulled. Not only does it look amazing, but that's how many bales per row.
I'm on the last lap here, and I will come take a look. I could see them actually over here. That's actually pretty fantastic the way it does it. Because they're not. It'll be easier to pick them up, I guess, too. They're not just like all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And now I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go put on the other trailer thing, and do the next row with it, and see how quickly it fills up. Because if we do a whole load of silage over there, I'm curious if that actually is going to work versus the little bit that we did.
Right. We'll have to buy that other equipment too, though.
Oh yeah, people didn't know because we did that off camera. We were looking at the options, and apparently there's options for bigger buckets, but you have
That's
to.
under wheel loader. Right?
Yeah, you have to get the wheel loader versus the tractors. Like we found them in a couple areas, but the biggest one I think was under the wheel loader.
Yes, so you're going to have to spend $145,000 on a wheel loader, $4,000 on the fork. If we want to go that route.
So I filled this thing up in less than a row, and it's a 21,300 liter guy.
Yeah, well, what's that thing called? Is that loading wagon? Yeah, it is.
I think it's a forage wagon.
Well, yeah, that's what loading wagons are, I guess. So that's the thing it's under. So it looks like if we want to get the biggest one, or it's going to cost us $131,000, and that is it holds 50,000.
Oh, so it only holds a little over double this.
Right. It's not fantastic. So yeah, what I was gonna say is, well, before I go on with that, would you rather are you the always on time?
Yes,
5 minutes late.
Absolutely. I'm the always on time person. Well, okay. I'm the always on time person for things I feel like you need to be on time to. I have been known to be the always late person for things that I know benefit me by being late.
Like what?
So back when I was in college and stuff, it was a huge thing of mine that if you ever got invited out to like a big, dinner at a restaurant with the fraternity house and the sororities, like when there were like joint things. Anytime there was a lot of women involved. I know that sounds sexist, but you'll understand why in a minute. I would always show up fashionably late because I would get there. Usually, if I wasn't drinking alcohol, I would be charged nothing for a drink. If I went in there to a group of like 30 people and was like, oh, I'd like a Coke or a Diet Coke or something like that, they'd usually just give me it, not even bother, because I'm one of these 30 people and they're all getting food. And I'd tell them I wasn't hungry. And the ladies that were there always order a bunch of stuff and are like, no, Jeff, just have some of my stuff. I'm not going to eat all this. And they would give me whatever they had there. And right. I would walk away eating more than I would have eaten of what I ordered by getting there late.
I see.
And I used to tell this story to my friends, and they would laugh at me. And it was so funny because a friend of mine was telling me how ridiculous she thought that was, and how that's obviously like just coincidence of the people that were around at some point when I, went somewhere, that didn't happen all the time. And I went to a restaurant to meet her and a bunch of her friends that she had invited, and invited me as well. And I showed up half an hour late and sat down and ordered a drink, like a Coke, non-alcoholic. And about 5 minutes in, she goes, "Oh, Jeff, what was that thing you were telling me about the other day? Guys, listen to how ridiculous this is. Oh, by the way, if you want some of these chicken wings, go ahead and have some. I'm not going to eat them all." Literally in the same sentence. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started telling the story, and she was cracking up because she was like, how ridiculous is it that he thinks that he can... And you saw the look on her face as she looked down, because I was eating her food. I had shown up late in the middle of her asking me to tell this story, and she goes, how ridiculous is it that he would think that you fucking son of a bitch? That's exactly what she said. So, for the most part, I am an on-time person but in certain situations, I am late for a reason.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that I'd rather sit around for like 10 minutes doing nothing than to be there late. But, so yeah, this morning I was going, and I've worked out how long it takes to take my daughter to the community theater thing, and make sure that I can get there with like 10 minutes to spare, or whatever. So she's always on time. And
well, and you were telling me that the community theater is not closed.
No, it's like an hour away, basically.
So, man, even a 10-minute window for me on something like that's a tight window.
Right. Yeah, and you know, the first day I was actually there 30 minutes early. This is after a week of doing this, basically, that I've relaxed myself a little bit because like I haven't had any problems at all.
Okay. So you've gotten the system down, the traffic down.
Right. Yeah, and it's a 2-lane road the whole way there, except for between my house and the first town. That's the only spot that it's a 1-lane road. The rest of the way, after you get to the first town, it opens up to a 2-lane road because there's a college like halfway there, and I guess they have a bigger road for the college. And so, anyways, I get to the main highway, and there's the student driver turning off of the road that I live on, and he sits there for fucking ages. Like, actually, it was a she sits there for ages just to make the turn, and there's nothing coming. I'm like, what is going on? So then she turns. The speed limit on the main highway is 55 miles an hour. We proceed to go 25 fucking miles an hour for 6 miles at least. I think it's 6 or 8 miles to town. I was going insane. There was one passing zone between my house and town, and there was cars coming during the passing zone. Like, I don't know. It was just the worst. And I feel like, to me, the instructor should have been telling her to go the speed limit. And at 25 miles an hour, she couldn't stay in the fucking lane half the time. She kept going over into the oncoming traffic lane.
Well, so that's that's the interesting thing to think about is the instructor the reason she was going slow? Like, was the instructor telling her to go slow for either the reason of this is how you learn to drive, or because she was not staying in her lane?
Right.
Or was it the person is so intimidated, and the whole time the instructor's going, go faster, you need to maintain speed. Like, you have no idea what's really happening inside that car.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, who knows what's going on inside. I know I was going insane. I was going, like, just insane. I couldn't... I normally not one to talk, and I was just talking about the... Like, I'm not the kind of guy. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did you start swerving, like, back and forth?
I was like, why are you going so slow?
Now, do you know if this was connected to the school, or was it like one of those Sears driving schools, or...
See, I don't know. Whenever we finally got to where the road splits into two, I did get a good look at her, and she was like definitely a younger kid, and her face was so red. Like, I could tell she was stressed the fuck out just by how red her face was. Whenever finally got to the point where this field is not actually grown. I hate this field. But yeah, I was so angry with it. And I still got there. Still had like close to 10 minutes. So everything was fine whenever I got to where I needed to be. But I was just, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the reason why I brought it up is that I don't know. I felt like there was danger just from being like slow. Like, I feel like there's just as much danger from speeding as there is going 30 miles under the speed limit. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to go 30 miles under the speed limit.
Well, it is. It's a ticket for impeding traffic. And the reason I know that is because back in the day, that's what you used to be able to get your tickets pled down to. Maybe you still can. I have no idea. But if you got a speeding ticket, the goal that you were going for was a ticket for impeding, because that didn't come with points. It was more money on the fine, but it didn't come with points against your license, which raises insurance.
Right.
So if anybody got a speeding ticket, it was always hoping to get dropped down to impeding. But it's what happens like on the expressway. If you go like, that's why they have minimums posted on a lot of expressways, because it's illegal and dangerous to go, slower than, oh god, someone got stuck on a light pole. Oh, I'm stuck.
Yeah, by the time we got to where the road split, like, I could not see the end of the cars behind us. It was just cars for days that were stuck behind this person.
Now, do you remember driver training yourself?
Yeah.
Did you take it through your school, or?
I did. Yeah, it was through high school. And I've told this story to other people. Like, did your school have the the like the machines where you sat and it was like kind of like you were in a car?
No,
like
we did not. We did not have simulations at my school. It was funny because it was one of the things on. I remember the itinerary for all your courses. Simulation day was one of the days, and we were told straight up that they didn't know if they were going to have the simulations up and running or not for us, which they ended up not having them up and running. So
the simulations were the worst. Like, it was the worst thing. Like, for one thing, the whole thing was just insane. Like, it was the things happening on the road. Like, anytime I'm ever driving and I see like a million insane things happening, like people jumping out in front of me, suddenly cars are turning in my way, like just like I'm like, oh god, I'm in the simulation again. Like, the simulation was just like hell on earth driving, basically. And it was like, it was projected. Like, there was a projector that like projected this thing to the front of the class. And like, you just had this thing that you didn't know that by turning the wheel at this time that you actually, because you couldn't, it wasn't like a cause and effect sort of thing. Like, by me turning to the left, like, I don't know whether or not I turned soon enough. There's no reward for what you're doing. The projection still continues to roll, like, because everyone's getting the same thing, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, that seems kind of weird.
Like, the teacher, the machine fed data to the teacher, and the teacher let you know how you did at the end. But then it was like, well, fuck. I mean, you know, it's like, oh, you messed up 8 times. It's
oh,
like,
so
well,
it didn't even like turn with you?
No. It was someone with a fucking camcorder recorded this video of hell on earth driving, and then you watched it on a projector, and you sat at this machine that you like turned or braked at certain times.
See,
basically, there was reactions you were supposed to make at these certain situations.
Without an immediate feedback mechanism, those things are pointless.
Right. It was the dumbest thing.
That's one of the problems I have with, like, when you take, I mean, you've probably never taken these before because you're not an EMT or a ski patroller, but when we do those testing for that, they're practical exams for EMT, you have, like, a patient who's a person who's telling you, oh, I feel this, and oh, I feel that, and I'll moan when you get to, like, the point of the injury. But a lot of the things are, you know, oh, you've now exposed the patient because you say, like, oh, now I would expose the patient, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, you see a bone sticking out. But there's no real bone sticking out there. So when you get later in the scenario, a lot of people end up failing because they'll go to backboard a patient and they'll turn them to their quote-unquote affected side, because when they look at the patient, there's nothing affected, so they just look at the scenario and they're like, okay, let's turn to the left and get this person on the backboard. They're like, oh, automatic fail point, you rolled the person out of the injury that doesn't really exist that we just told you existed.
Right.
You know, it's one of those, like, it's okay, you just failed somebody for something because they have no real world feedback. Like, do you really think in the field they're going to look at this bone sticking out of this leg or this arm and be like, let's turn them onto that side? No, like, that's not a valid test. Right. Did you buy something?
Yeah.
I was like, I just completely froze.
Yeah, it did for me too. No, I didn't buy anything though.
Oh, you didn't buy anything?
No.
Oh,
no.
I assumed you did. So yeah, those driver's ed, I remember for me it was interesting because I did take it at my school, and I was kind of lucky to take it at my school. I keep trying to turn down this bridge that I know is not the right way, but I keep wanting to go down it for some reason. But the Michigan licenses were changing the year that I was allowed to take driver's ed. And if you didn't get into a driver's ed class by a certain time, you were now affected by the new rules, which were also including of the Cinderella license, where you can't drive after midnight once you get your real license. So if you got your license before a certain date, you had a fully unrestricted license. But if you got it after a certain date, your first 2 years were quote-unquote probation. So from 16 to 18, you're on probation, and you can't drive after like 11 p.m. or midnight or something like that, and you can't have more than one non-family member in the car with you. And I happen to be the age where I was eligible for driver's ed, but it was the last class that you would be able to not have the restricted license. So everybody and their brother was going to take it, and it was based on your age, and I was a young person for the age range, quote-unquote. Like, I had just turned 15. And luckily, my school offered a second driver's ed class to get the people like me through it. which was good because a lot of friends of mine signed up and went to Sears and paid like $1,000 or whatever it was to go through driver training at, you know, some third-party company to be able to get that stuff. But ours was literally just basically you get in the car and you drive. And my instructor was like, after the first day when she realized like what people's skill levels were, she was like, okay, like, Jeff, you're pretty good at this. I'm thirsty. Let's go through the drive-thru. And it seems funny, but she's like, I'm thirsty, but this is also one of the things that you probably will be doing when you get your license, so let's learn it now. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, my driver training was very similar in that we drove him around and do all his errands.
I think you did tell me about this before, actually.
Yeah, so the fucking first day, we, so here's my first day driving. The first like there's 3 of us in the car with him. We go and we went and paid some bills, and then we went to this like a gas station / hunting lodge type thing, and we go in and he does some shopping, and then we get in the car and then it's my turn to drive. And inside this fucking place, he bought a duck collar, and so I start driving, and then all of a sudden, quack, 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 just like the whole fucking time I'm driving. It's the worst.
Yeah, mine was more legitimate. It was we're gonna do something that you're going to do anyways type of deal. It wasn't take me to the store. Yeah. I remember we didn't have the steering wheel on the other side of the car. Did you have that?
Yeah. He had a steering wheel.
Oh, see, our cars didn't have a steering wheel. They did have a brake.
Actually, no,
but there was no steering wheel.
No, he just had the brake. He just had a brake.
Yeah, I always see on movies and stuff that second steering wheel in the cars. And that always throws me off, too, because what if nobody steers with that steering wheel? Does it just go wild? Like, is it harder to hold the main steering wheel if nobody's holding that one?
Well, I know that whenever, for like the brake thing, there's like a switch that you could turn it on and off, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they were drive-by-wire. They weren't like mechanically connected.
Right. Well, I mean, there's like it's basically like a you can flip it on and off. Like so now it's working, and now it's not. Like so if it's off, like and you press the brake over there, it just doesn't do anything.
Well, I guess it still could be mechanical. It just could be a connection that they disengage or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I never got to drive in the front seat of that thing, so I have no idea. I always feel bad for the people who have to drive, like who are the student teachers for that stuff, and they have to drive the. Oh my god! I just fucking went down that same goddamn bridge again. I don't know why I keep turning on this bridge because it's not the way back. It's a straight shot, and I keep turning on this bridge. But can you imagine driving the student driver car? Because people fuck with student driver cars.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's mean.
Oh, since mine was at my high school, and it was right after school, we would get on the road sometimes when people from school were like, who had to stay late for something, would be leaving. And I remember on multiple occasions having people in my class would end up being behind me and just like swerving ridiculously and like passing just to try to fuck you up because they knew you were in, driver's ed.
I guess I'll admit today when I was stuck behind girl, I kept thinking I should just fucking tailgate her and just fucking blow my horn the whole time. But
flash your lights, see what happens. Hey, it's real world.
I did want to pass her and just look at her, just stare at her the whole time passing her. How dare you be so slow?
I don't know if my heart could take being an instructor for a class like that. Because you literally take somebody who's never been behind the wheel before, and you're like, let's go on the road.
Right.
Let's
see how good you are.
I'm a risky guy. Like, I go into fires and stuff. Like, that doesn't scare me nearly as much as getting behind in the passenger seat of a person who's never driven before.
That's funny.
Yeah.
For ours, I guess the place where they gave the test was always the same, like where you actually took your driving test. So I remember like the third time we went out driving, we went to exactly where our test would be administered, and we drove the course basically. Like it was near the DMV. There was this side road they would always go down. They would go into this part of town. Like it was always the same. And so we basically took our test beforehand.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I failed my test the first time.
Did you? Well, so did you have to take a test to pass driver's ed and then want to get your license, or was it?
Well, yeah. Like because it was like just a high school course, driver's ed. So yeah, I took that or whatever, and I passed driver's ed fine. And then I went and took the written test at the DMV because nothing that happens to driver's ed actually affects your license in my state. It was just like take this test, and now we think you're probably good, so go try your luck at the DMV. And so I did, and I passed my written test fine. Like I didn't have any trouble with that at all. And I failed my driving test before I ever left the parking lot because I didn't use my turn signals in the parking lot.
See, that's so fucked up.
Yep. And of course they don't tell you. She basically could have stopped me there, like 10 feet in, and been like, "All right, well, you're fucking done here, boy." But did the whole rest of the test, and I did fine everywhere else. Didn't fuck up on anything. But did not use my turn signals in the parking lot, so no license on the first go.
Wow. Yeah, we didn't have. Well, it's kind of weird. Before, so I was telling you that they were changing the laws when I was going through. I was affected by one piece of it, which was that you had to take a third-party test before you could get your license. Before my class, so about 3 months before I was eligible for it, you didn't have to do anything. Once you passed driver's ed, you went to the DMV, or it's not a DMV in Michigan, but the same concept of DMV. It's the Secretary of State, but you just got a license as long as you passed driver's ed. And then for me, I was the first group that had to take the third-party exam, and you had to pay for it on your own and go to an approved testing center and have a piece of paper that basically says you passed. And when I went and took one of those, there was the course part of it where you had to do like your parking and your parallel parking and all that fun stuff. And then you got to go out on the road. And I did most of my stuff just fine. And I did pass the first time, but I remember being on the road and having her be like, okay, and it was a spot they had the course set up so that, or not the course, but the route set up. So you get on the expressway at one point, and one exit up, there's a left exit. So you have to it's basically get on the expressway, merge left, take the left exit, loop back to the place that you started at. So it was kind of like a perfect setup for this scenario, but it wasn't that long. It was only like a mile stretch. And I got on the expressway, and there was a lot of cars. It was really busy, and all the cars were literally going like the speed limit. And I was like, okay, so I'm sitting next to this car, and she's like, merge left when you feel safe. And I'm next to this car, who's next to there's like 5 other cars behind him because he's going the speed limit. So everybody's kind of mad that he's going the speed limit, trying to keep up with him. And I'm going next to him, and she's like, okay, you need to get left a little faster than this because, our exit's going to be coming up soon. So I sped up literally. I was going 75 miles an hour. And you got to remember, in Michigan, it's 70 miles an hour is the speed limit on the expressways there. So I sped up to 75 to get in front of him to go. And I swear to God, this woman, she goes, oh, dear God, you're going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. And I was like... Okay, and my dad was in the back seat because they made your parent go with you, and he was just kind of like, you can see him, he just put his head down, and he was like, because it was so ridiculous that she was so outraged at the fact that I went 5 miles an hour above the speed limit. It wasn't that she just said, you're going too fast, slow down. It was, oh dear God, you're going blah blah blah. So I lost points for that, but I still had enough other points that I ended up passing, which was good because I would have been really pissed off because I honestly really couldn't have done anything about that if she had really expected me to get off at that next exit. I would have been okay if you really want me to go the speed down,
right?
Well, there was a bunch of cars behind this other guy because he was going so slow, quote unquote going the speed limit. People in Michigan don't drive the speed limit. Everybody else drives a lot faster than the speed limit, so that's impeding itself. Oh, driver's ed. What a fun time.
Man, whenever I got my license back, because I stopped driving. As you know, I stopped driving for 10 years and didn't drive because driving sucks.
And then when I went to get my DC. Yay.
Yeah. I think I told you before, when I went to get my license back, the woman was just a total bitch about it all. She was like, so why did you lose your license? And I'm like, I didn't. I just stopped.
I didn't renew the license.
Yeah. And she's like, she was like, you know, we'll find out why. You know, there's no reason to lie about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not lying. Just stop driving. And she's like, no one stops driving. I was like, okay. And this is like in the DMV full of fucking people, so everyone's looking at me like, this fucking liar. She got him. And so, you know, I had to retake the test, like the driving test and the written test and all that other bullshit. So I didn't have any trouble with any of that. But basically, after she realized that she was such a liar, like the whole driving test, she was the nicest person. She was just like kissing my ass the whole time. She's like, I'm so sorry about all of that. But there wasn't one around to hear any of this because we were just in the car.
Well, of course. I mean, in her defense, even though it's not a defense because that's not the way you deal with, you know, like your customers, but she probably gets people all the time who make up shit to try to, you know, get away with, oh, no, I'm just getting my license. Nope, never lost it. Nope, definitely not. Definitely didn't get it suspended for 3 DUIs. You know, nope. You know, she probably deals with people like that all the time and just kind of assumes you were, you know, one of them as well. But like I said, no excuse, but I can understand why she had that initial reaction.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm sure that they get a lot of people full of shit. It's probably like being a postal worker too, where it's just like, oh god, I hate everyone.
See, I can't imagine. I don't know why postal workers would hate everybody because they don't.
Well, no, you know what? They don't hate everyone.
Interface with people.
Okay, yeah. But I understand why they hate their jobs.
I mean, it's a government job that pays well, that has great benefits, that you get to like do basically like leisurely. I don't really understand that. I guess it depends on what postal worker you're talking about. I'm thinking of my mailman, which is probably different than what you're thinking about.
No, I'm talking about my mailman too. And the reason why I feel like I understand why they hate their jobs is it's never ending. It's not like you can catch up. It's not like you can get ahead.
Well, you definitely can't get ahead, that's for sure. But
right, and that's just, to me, that's just very stressful. Like I like.
See, I think it's kind of the opposite. If I had a job right now, because I don't have one like that I just had a task to get done and a quota to fill, I think I'd feel good about that. My job is so dynamic that I'm always worried about what I'm missing and what's coming next. But I guess, I don't know.
I'm always the kind of guy that wants to get ahead. Like, I want to.
But how did you couldn't get ahead in your business like that you ran before, right? With like your whatever you did with like server management and all?
So like with that, it's like, you know, I'm making websites and I'm selling them and that sort of thing. So I could get a surplus of websites. Like there was always work to do, and it was different, and I could get to the point where it's like, all right, I can take a few days off now. Like I've got a month.
Oh, okay, I see. Since you were at your own pace, yeah, you have the ability to take days off. You're not running the route that mail still has to be delivered every single day to somebody. Okay, I can see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because when you have clients, like you still have to do your things for your clients, and
right.
And if shit goes down, if the server goes down, like that's you. Like you have to jump into action and deal with that. It's not like the mail's gonna go down, and then you have to like wait until the tech company comes out and fixes the mail so you can now, do it again.
Right. I didn't realize how bad the mile per gallon is on those mail carriers. It's like 11 miles to the gallon.
Oh, wow. That's really bad.
Yeah.
I did find out, because I do know some people that, when I was in college, that were mailmen, or started in mail and then, like, became, like, official mailmen. I don't know if that's the right terminology for it. But the funny thing is, you have to work your way up to a truck. They have to start by by using their own personal vehicles. And granted, I think they got, like, gas reimbursement and stuff for it. But, a mail truck is set up to be a right-hand drive, so that you can deliver the mail out of the right-hand window. So one of these girls that I knew, she was delivering mail. Her husband helped her like build this thing in their vehicle so she could basically sit in the center of the car and use the pedals with her left foot and steer with not just reaching her left hand all the way across, but kind of halfway doing that so she could
doesn't-
still deliver mail.
doesn't sound legal.
Oh god, it sounds terrible. But that's what you did in the mail industry. Like, you had to build your way up to having your own truck.
Okay, well, that sounds... Well, on that note, we're also out of time.
Well, guys,
Thanks for watching.
see you next time.